Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Esther Foley and I'm so glad you've decided to watch this video today. We are going to be discussing inspections. Inspections can be pretty intense. Those reports have page after page after page of things that inspectors find. And it can be anything from very severe issues all the way to the doorbell didn't work whenever we tested it. They really do go through the whole home and test for so many things. You actually can test and inspect for a whole list of things. And in fact, in the contract itself, it spells out multiple different things that you can inspect for. And that doesn't have to be the totality of what you have done. I encourage people to get at least 3 different inspections done at a minimum. The first would be your general home inspection. So that's where they're going to come in. They're going to look at your electrical, mechanical, plumbing, your roof, the whole shebang. It really is just a general snapshot of everything that the inspector can find that might need to be addressed within the home. A lot of times then those inspectors will take those and they'll categorize the items that they have found to, hey, this is something that might need to be addressed in the future. This is something that maybe is needing to be looked at now, maybe not, and this is an item that is a must do. And that's really helpful whenever an inspector can kind of break things down for you like that. A few things to keep in mind whenever you have a general inspector or really any inspector out. You have to remember that they do not live in the home. They are going to have a limited knowledge on what they're looking at because they aren't there every single day. They don't flush the toilet every single day. They don't run the dishes every single day. And so there is a limited amount of ability. In addition, sometimes there might be homeowner property which they are not allowed to move in the way that could conceal something. Hopefully a seller isn't doing that on purpose, but that could impede an inspector's ability to be able to see everything that there is with the home. So you have to keep that in mind. You also have to keep in mind the conditions the day of. If it's raining outside, that is a great way to be able to see if there's standing water in the yard. However, it is not a great way to see the roof. Sometimes, depending upon how bad it is, the inspector may not be able to get up there at all. In those situations, you may have to actually have them come out again on another day. It really just varies from day to day, the weather conditions, and that can impact an inspector's ability to be able to see and navigate the home as a whole. Just a few things to keep in mind. Now, an additional inspection that I really like to see people have done is to have a structural engineer come out to the home. Personally, I'm a big fan of having them come out regardless for multiple reasons. One, let's say that the general home inspector goes through the home and all of a sudden they realize, hey, I really think you need to get a structural engineer out here. Well, depending upon your timeline for your inspections, you might be on a time crunch, and then it may be hard to find a structural engineer who can come out on short notice because it's probably been a couple of days since you had that inspection set up, and you only have a certain period of time in your window to inspect the home. You can go back to the homeowner and ask them to extend your window to give you a little bit more time to have that out. However, they could deny your request. In addition, we may be scrambling last minute to get somebody out there to do the structural inspection. So I like to go ahead and have the structural inspector out there the same day. Another thing that I think is beneficial with having the structural inspector out there at the same time as the general inspector, they may be able to confer and discuss with each other repairs that need to be made. I've also found where one inspector found something that the other didn't. And so having that extra set of eyes on the property really can make a big difference. I'm a huge fan of an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. So I'm all about having those inspections done. The third inspection that I really like to have people do is to have a pest and termite inspection done. They're going to go around the property. They're going to look for wood rot, termites, carpenter ants, things of that nature, just to see if there's anything that needs to be addressed. Now, fortunately, in the state of Oklahoma, our termites are slow moving, so that is good. But if your home has termites, you want to know it, right? You don't want to move into a home that has termites and have unseen damage that you have no idea about. Absolutely not. You want to get that fixed up front and ask the seller to do that as part of your negotiation period whenever you're going over your repairs. Now, in that window, typically, depending upon how the contract is written, you usually have roughly 2 weeks, give or take. And in that time, you can have all of these inspections done and more. It's also a wonderful time to make sure to contact your insurance company to find out if you're going to have any concerns with that, because it's a great time to know that while you're still in your inspection window. Once you're no longer in your inspection window, your ability to walk away from a contract as a buyer is limited at that point. I always like to remind people, and you may have heard me say it in one of my other videos, but you are entering into a legal binding contract, and it is important that you treat it as such. So you have to pay attention to those timelines and make sure that you're doing everything that is required within them. As always, I'm grateful that you tuned in. If you found this video helpful, I would love for you to like and subscribe and follow for more. Anything that I can help you with in the Tulsa Metro, if it's buying a home, if it's selling a home, I would love to be the professional that walks you through that process. Or if you live in another part of the country and you're just looking to find somebody great, please reach out to me because I can connect you with somebody. As always, have a great day. Thank you.